Hey everybody, here I have my 904 transmission out of my Blue Dart. It's the reason I stopped driving the car because it lost third gear in reverse. So I got a transmission rebuild kit and we're going to see if we can figure out how to overhaul it. Here's the rebuild kit. It's got clutches, filter, new band, gaskets, seals. I'm doing this in my bedroom. My mom was a little pissed that I dripped transmission fluid all the way through the house, but I told her that it does make the floors cleaner after it's wiped up, so. Wow, right away I can tell you these look like pieces of the band. Oh man, look at that. This is junk, yeah. Look at all this material in here from the band. Wow, this thing is really trash. So this is what happens when you shift gears. This is park, this is neutral, drive, second, first, low. So that's a little interesting. Okay, so to get the front pump out of the transmission, I need a slide hammer. I didn't have one, so I decided to make one. I've got some wrist pins here that I just quick welded together. Foosball handle, and what I'm gonna do is now weld a bolt into the end that I can screw in to the front of the transmission. Okay, so to get this front pump out, you're gonna need to use a slide hammer and locate the threaded holes. Let's see, they're gonna be opposite each other. There's a threaded hole and there's a threaded hole. This is the slide hammer that I made. It's essentially just a foosball table handle and two wrist pins welded together with the bolt on the end. You really actually needed two slide hammers so you could pull on both sides at once so it doesn't get wedged in there. I ended up going over to my friend Jay Honda's house because he had two and we pulled this out. So this pump, so you've got the pump. Here, this is where your clutches go. You see the clutches in there. Here's your drum where the band tightens down on. Actually, no, this is where your band tightens down on. You can see it's pretty scored, but we're gonna reuse it anyway. All right, so to get these clutches out, you're gonna remove this retaining clip. Be gentle with it, be careful not to deform it. And then this should just lift out. I need two hands for this. Okay, so this clutch pack just comes right out. Okay, two-handed job. And then you essentially just repeat that step again on this drum. Like so. Being very careful not to deform it. Just like so. And then this bearing, the kit comes with a replacement for this bearing. It's one piece. And this one seems okay. I can run my fingernail along it and I don't feel any scoring. So I think I'm going to reuse this. Also, I checked to see if there was a lot of play while it was mounted on the input shaft, and there wasn't. The reason I'm not going to replace it is because although you can get it out without a specialized tool, putting it back in, pressing it in without a special tool is really difficult to do without damaging it. So I'm just going to leave that be and instead replace this clutch pack. Okay, I need to take this snap ring out. Use some special pliers. Like so. A bit complicated. So I'm glad I'm documenting this, how it comes apart. There we go. I'm gonna actually need two hands for this. Alright, now I'm going to check out this band here. actually, it's not as bad as I had thought. Looks like it's a little worn. Okay, my lower reverse band did not look too bad, and the kit didn't come with a new one, so I'm reinstalling it. Just putting the snap ring back. This was a little tricky to get back in. There's a little like rotating keyway on the back of this assembly, and it snaps into here, and also this one you can kind of see maybe back there. They also have to click into place, and if you don't get it to click just right, you won't have enough room to put the snap ring in. So you'll know. Here's a little pro tip from my buddy Jay Honda. Take your clutches before you install them and actually soak them in a little transmission fluid before. So that way, when you start the car up and the transmission is spinning, they aren't dry and burning themselves up. So make sure that if you're doing this in your bedroom, like I am, you don't spill the transmission fluid, because these are pretty much submerged. Let these sit for a couple hours before I install them in the transmission. Okay, so I put the low reverse band back in, that drum in, and now I'm going to reassemble this. And I have it standing up because it's easier trying to do this one-handed to get things to line up. Because these gears, the teeth on the clutches need to all get lined up with the gears, or with the teeth on the gear. Okay, I got this all the way in. So now I'm going to put this one on, and again, make sure the teeth on the clutch pack line up. So to do that, you have to really just like cracking a safe almost. Just get it to. Okay, now that all the clutch packs have been installed, all the drums are installed, I'm going to put the band on. Okay, little correction, you have to put the band in first, and then just put the locking pin in place. And then I just tightened this down a little bit. I have to get my torque wrench and the specs to figure out exactly what the specs are. But other than that, pretty much it's reassembled. I gotta put in the front pump. That's the last thing. Now I'm going to adjust the lower reverse band, and it's supposed to be 72 inch-pounds. 72, right? Back this off 4 whole turns, and then lock the nut down. So I took a marker and I marked right here. So now I will back this off 4 whole turns. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 whole turns. Okay, so now that we have the transmission put back together, the front pump reinstalled, we're going to bench test it with compressed air. Right here is how you check the low reverse band. That actuates. And then right here is how you check the front band. Looks pretty good. And then to check the clutch packs, the front clutch packs, you go in here. You can hear them in there actuating, and then the rear clutches. Well, my air compressor's out of juice, but you gotta hear 2 clicks. 1, 2.
Seated.
Now, the torque converter is seated in the transmission. Now to be put into the car. Okay, so here we have the 7 1/4 that's going into my car temporarily. And what we're doing right now is welding the diff, because we've never done it before. And that rear end is going to go in and replace it. once we do the big block swap. But in the meantime, we're gonna try and see what it's like to have a welded diff. So what we're gonna do is weld the plate in here so these gears can't spin anymore, the spider gears, and that way both wheels will turn.
So it'll only turn like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm in the hole.
Oh! What are you doing there?
There we go.
Now I'm not in the hole.
Well,
thanks
damn it.
a lot, pal. Well, thanks a lot, pal. The day I get
Wipe
out
my
of
hands
prison,
off
I'm
on this
in the hole.
dog. All right.
He was giving us the thumbs up.
That felt like a good shift. That felt like it went into third, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It was smooth over here.
Here we are in the dart. It's shifting really nicely into third gear now. We were a little low on fluid and we added some and now it's not slipping at all. You might hear a little something coming from the rear end. That's because of our freshly welded diff. Our tires are squealing a little bit, and here I'll demonstrate to you exactly how much we can make them squeal. Here, turn it around so they can see. They must be at different pressures because they're even in a straight line. One is still squealing. I later realized that the rear tires were actually different sizes, so when I replaced them with the matching set, that squeal went away in a straight line. Also, with a little bit of adjustment to the kickdown linkage, the third gear shift came at the right time, and the transmission looks to be in working order. So thank you for watching.